Welcome to Be a Baller podcast. I'm your host, Coach Tim Brown, and today I'm excited to have a conversation with Gayle Saunders, a powerhouse in business, communications, and community leadership. From building one of Central Ohio's premier PR agencies to coordinating major campaigns for President Obama to guiding boards and budgets over $150 million, Gayle has truly spent her career leading with strategy, integrity, and impact. Today, we'll talk about building a legacy in business, leadership, and community. Gail, welcome to the show.
Tim, thank you so much. It is truly an honor to be with you today, and I'm so excited to share a few moments with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate this. I've been looking forward to this conversation. I love that bright smile and all that. You're making me look good on here today.
Well, I
I
think you
step
do
my
that on your
game up.
own, Mr. Tim.
I
Brother
step
Tim,
my
I think you
game
do that
up.
on your own. So,
You know. Off air, we're talking a little bit about growing up. Can you talk about growing up in Kentucky and how you really your faith and your values and some decisions were based on basically your principles from growing up. Can you talk about that experience?
absolutely, Tim. Again, let me just say thank you for having me on Be a Baller and Living the Legacy. I really do admire all the work that you do. So I just want to start with that and thank you so much. Yes, I am a Kentucky girl. I grew up in a small town called North Middletown, Kentucky. If you blinked, you would miss it. We had only one stoplight,
Wow.
but it was one of the just a blessing for me. I had seven siblings, so my mom and my dad raised us to be very focused on community, certainly leaning on our faith. We had church right across the street from us, which is the church that my mom, she was the pianist there and the choir director there. And then right down the street was a Methodist church, which my father belonged to. And so
Mhm.
we had to split our times going back and forth, but we lived in the church. And so
Mhm.
grew up in CYF, always very engaged and involved. And so the values that we were raised with in terms of making sure that you are about excellence. My parents always had, I don't know if you remember those black encyclopedias that came out by Ebony, which they made
Yes.
sure we had those. All of the Jets, the Ebonies, those magazines, we had them in our home. And so, rich history about who we are, our history as Black people was very, very strong in our family. And so, we were reared with that, just being about excellence and representing family in a way that represents family positively, making sure that you understand your faith and your faith values and leaning on those even when times are tough,
Mhm.
and also making sure that you are about family. And for us, family even meant the broader community. My mom and my dad, they were very engaged in community, very engaged in church, and they were hard workers. They raised seven of us on the salaries that they made. My dad was a construction worker, had his own business, but I tell you, if back then it was not easy being your own entrepreneur. But he raised seven of us, sent us to
Mhm.
college, and just made sure that we had strong values from a giving perspective, from a loving perspective, from an integrity perspective, and from a community perspective. And so those are the values that have helped me along the way. I'll say that one of the songs that sticks with me to this day is a song we sang in my mom's choir, and that was "If I Can Help Somebody as I
Mhm.
Pass Along." You know the song, Tim. If I
Oh
can
yeah.
help
Yeah.
somebody with a word or song, if I can
Right.
help somebody as I travel
Mhm.
on, then my
Mhm.
living will not be in
In
vain.
vain.
And that song, it just motivates me to always be about helping others, helping family, and helping community.
Mm, Awesome, awesome. I see where you got the communication deal from. I see it already. I see that already. But when did you realize that you had this gift of communication, of talking to people or whatnot? Or when did you realize you had that gift?
Well, I love writing, and so
Mm,
in the eighth grade, I knew that I wanted to be a writer, but not a writer in terms of an author, a book writer like you. I may do that one day, but in terms of a journalist. And so I was
mm,
very involved in the high school publication and newspaper, and very involved in just, our English club, our communications club, our debate club. I was just very involved. And so I knew in the eighth grade that I wanted to do that. So I
Wow.
was very deliberate about the courses I chose. I worked very hard on, at that time, I am dating myself a little bit. We didn't have very many Black role models on TV. Barbara Walters was the one. And
Mhm.
so I knew that I wanted to be the first Black journalist to make it. But Oprah beat me to the punch. So she beat me to the
That's all
punch.
right. That's all
And
right.
so I just knew that I wanted to write, I wanted to tell stories, and I really wanted to tell stories about us, the positiveness of who we are. That's really what I wanted to do. And so that's how I started my career. And I knew in the eighth grade that's what I wanted to do.
Can you talk about your college career that propelled you or prepared you for what you're doing? How was your college career? Were you involved in a lot of activities in college around
Oh,
journalism?
college was one of the best times of my journey. I just had great experience in college. And so I went to the University of Louisville. One of the things that I love cheerleading, dance, all those things I did since the fourth grade. So I tried out for cheerleading at the University of Louisville, and I made cheerleading as
Nice.
a freshman. I was
Nice.
captain for 3 years, and
Oh,
so
nice.
I
Nice.
had such a fabulous experience traveling and the exposure that offered me. And one of the things that it afforded me as well is, as I mentioned, I wanted to be a journalist. And so
Mhm.
Denny Crum, bless his soul,
Wow.
he gave me an opportunity to be the reporter for a local radio station there,
Wow.
WLOU, the Black station there. They gave me an internship, and Denny Crum allowed me to interview the players as part of my internship and
Wow.
just helped me propel my love for interviewing, my love for telling stories. He gave me that opportunity, as did the general manager at WLOU. And so that kind of started me on my path from a career perspective in journalism, in media relations, and then I morphed into PR. But my college career, I had a wonderful career. I pledged the sorority, Alpha Kappa
Mm.
Alpha. I
Okay.
had made great friends, lifelong friends, was very academically strong as well. I always say that because I want people to know that you can do all those other things and you still have to get your academics,
Mm.
period,
Mhm.
period, and
Period.
period.
Right.
And so I share that with young people. Enjoy your college career. Take advantage of all you can. And you've got to make sure that you're performing academically as well. And as an athlete, you have to do that as well. And so I talk about that with my son, his friends, and those young people who I mentor as well. So I was very blessed,
Oh, yeah.
very, very blessed in my college career, and very proud of the legacy that I left there as well. And
Amen.
today I serve on the University of Louisville Athletic Association. And so I'm very proud that I still am able to support my alma mater, make differences by being on the board there. And
Yes.
it's just such a gift for me to be able to be in that space right now.
Mhm. You started your career in news as the first Black female news videographer in Columbus. What did that mean to you then, and what does it mean now?
At the time, it did not occur to me that I was the first Black female. I just wanted to break into the industry. I was in Louisville at the time, so I was given the opportunity to come here, bigger market. So I just knew that I wanted to be the best that I could be, do the best that I could do, and tell stories. And so at the time, it didn't even occur to me that I was the first Black female. I
Mhm.
just was there doing my job, doing it well, and making sure that I was highlighting stories that elevated Black and Brown people in a positive way. And I say this very intentionally because no matter what position you're in, you can make a difference, no matter what position you're in. And so while I was a news videographer, We were responsible for capturing the video, capturing the people, capturing the story, and then we were responsible for editing the story. So
Okay.
I made sure, when there was negative news, you had to tell the negative news. But I always made sure that through the work that I was responsible for, that Black and brown people showed up well. And so at the time I didn't think about it, but then as I was moving through my career, and people were kept telling me, Gail, do you realize you were the first? And then I encouraged other Black women to go into that arena. And I remember Cena York, who was at Channel 10, she saw me out doing back then we had the heavy equipment
Right,
and I
right,
was
right,
managing it. And she
right.
said, you do that? I said, yes, I do. And you can too. And
Mm,
so a couple of years later, after she graduated, she became a news videographer at Channel 10.
nice.
So I say that to say, you never know how you're going to impact someone when you show up in these spaces where you might be the only one, the first one. Um, you your responsibility is to make sure you're not the last or the only. So I take that responsibility to heart, and I have always really worked hard to make sure that I am not the only or the last. You can be the
Mm,
first, but if you are the only one, then something you gotta check yourself.
mm.
So
Wow, that's
so that's
good.
how I so
Yeah.
at first I was just doing a job that I love to do. And then as I understood the responsibility of it, as I matured in that role, I was in that role for 10 years,
Mm.
then that's when I understood the responsibility it was to make sure that I bring others along.
Piggybacking on that, you've been the first in many rooms. How do you navigate being a trailblazer while maintaining excellence and confidence?
Ooh, Tim, that's a question. That is a question. I'll say that preparation
Hmm.
is key in all things.
Yes.
If you prepare yourself, if you study, if you put in the work,
Hmm.
then the confidence comes because you know your stuff. So that
Yes.
confidence comes. But even with knowing your stuff, things happen that you cannot explain, that are simply because you are a woman, simply because you are Black, but you cannot let that be something that holds you back. And so faith, leaning in on the Lord or your God, whatever your faith is, your relationship with the higher power is the thing that gets you through. And for me, that is the thing that gets me through. And so I say that sometimes your confidence might take a hit for a moment, but when you get on your knees and you
Oh.
talk to the Lord and you know whose you are, and
Mm,
then you call on your ancestors. My parents are
mm,
deceased,
mm,
but they are with me every single
mm,
day. My siblings who have gone on before me, uh, they instill in me, and those who are still with me, just that grit that
mm,
makes you get back up. And
mm.
so you're going to have some tough times, and I still have them today. But it's the part about getting back up
Getting
and
back up.
knowing that
Mm,
you're okay
mm,
is what, you just put that one step in front of the other. And I'll tell you, Tim, I just cannot um, underscore enough the importance of leaning in on others sometimes. Sometimes you just have to lean in on the Lord, and you got to surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth,
mm,
who will also support you and help lift you up. So
mm,
you got to have a tribe
mm,
around you sometimes too that helps you get back up as well.
mm.
I
That's
had
good. That's good.
an experience, and I'll share this with you, which I
Mhm.
have not shared very often, but this is what you do, Tim. You bring things out in people. And
My
so,
job.
yes, you do. You do. Early in my career, I had a very significant car crash.
Mm,
And it did a lot to it mangled my face. I was just a millimeter more, I would not be here because it really did impact my neck, my face. And so um, that was a time when I was really focused on my career as moving into a journalist. But it did something to my confidence.
mm,
And I had to find a way to get that back. And through the grace of God and through just knowing that the exterior is just that, it's the exterior, it's what's in you that really matters. Lean on that. And I say that to young people. It's who you are, your character, your person, your being that really matters because all the other stuff is just exterior. It's
mm,
just exterior. And
mm,
so that helped to mold me in a way that I had not expected it to mold me in,
mm,
Tim. So that's
mm.
part of why I have the grit just to keep going today.
Mhm. It's good. All of us have a story,
Mhm.
and people see our glory, but they don't know the story. They see all this, but they don't know what, woo, if it had not been for the Lord on my side,
Isn't that
where
the
would
truth? Isn't that the
I be?
truth?
As we think about that, and you were sharing, well, who were some mentors who shaped your commitment to public service, communication, and truth telling? Who were some of your mentors along the way?
Well, so of course I got my mom and my dad, mentors one and two. In everything that they did, and they instilled in me by their example, helping others in the community, forgiving other people who may not have treated them well, but they still, when those people needed them, they showed up. They showed up. Taking in other people's children when there was some help needed. My parents' character,
Mm,
even when it's hard, you got to stand on your character because we're
mm,
not always going to make the best decision or the best decision, but you got to stand on it and you got to deal with the consequences. And so my parents are my mentors, and I've had so many others who have taught me along the way. My siblings, I have an 88-year-old sister
mm,
who is just the most giving, loving person I know. Then my brother, who was an educator and did so much in his space and community. My brother who served in Vietnam, who came back with so many stories about that experience that strengthened him, but also strengthened us. They have made an indelible impact on me, who I am. My sister, Lillian, who is 3 years older than me, and the strength that she has fighting different illnesses. All of these have made an impact on me and are my mentors. And then those in career, I could name so many, Jean Harris, Donna James, who I worked for and worked with. And as they were strong Black women leading change wherever they were, I tell this story and I've told it to Donna and I'll tell it to you. Donna James, who was CEO of one of the business lines at Nationwide, one of the top African American, period, while I was there. As she went through the halls of Nationwide as a CEO, she spoke to everyone that she encountered, but she did more than speak to them along the way. I watched her walk through the hallway and she would speak to the janitor, but she would not only speak, she'd ask about their kids, how they doing. She knew them
mm,
when other CEOs and other leaders in that organization did not do that. So she taught me by watching her that you can lead with passion and compassion and care about people as you are leading. So it's just various people along the way who have fed me, who have supported me, who have been just such blessings to me. And I could go on and name so many, but and there's men. My husband is a person who that the how much he gives to community, it just amazes me. He gets up every day happy to serve. And
Amen.
so I just watch him and he energizes me as well. And then I'm going to say one final person who has helped to shape me as a mom and as I have matured, and that is Jerry Saunders Jr.
Mhm.
That young man pushes me in ways I didn't know I could be pushed, but it's all good. And so he has helped me to grow as a person,
Yeah.
as a leader, but most importantly, as a mom. And
Mhm.
so, all those things. And then when I think about um, my my pastor growing up, Mr. Butler, um, he taught us in Sunday school. He was our preacher, but he taught the young people in Sunday school. The impact that he had on me as a youngster and just understanding that faith walk stays with me to this day. So I paused there because I could go on and I could
Yeah.
tear up
Well,
too, Tim, which
it's all right.
I was not
It's
going to
all
do
right.
today.
Yeah. You know, after an already successful career, what inspired you to start your own PR firm in 2020, 2014?
I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. It was in my blood, my dad.
Mhm.
And so I
Mhm.
knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Um, I thought quite candidly I would have started earlier.
Mhm.
But after my wonderful opportunity at The Ohio State University, and I was leading media relations there under Gordon Gee. When he retired, I decided that if I don't start my business now, I probably won't ever start it. So I decided to lay my shingle then in 2014, and through the grace of God and some very generous people who helped me when I first started, generous by giving me an opportunity. Um, I haven't looked back. So I knew I wanted to do it. I had the courage to do it. And I'll say that the courage to do it in 2014, because I knew if I didn't try it then, I probably would have gone back to corporate America and would have stayed there until I retired. So that really was the impetus for it. I knew if I didn't do it then, I would probably not do it because you get comfortable in corporate. They you get the perks, you get all the things that come along with being a leader or an executive role at the corporate. You can get comfortable. So I knew if I went back to corporate, I probably would retire from there and I would never have started my business. So I had to try. I had to try.
Amen. You've done well. You've done well.
God
You've
has
done
been
more than
good,
try.
Tim.
You've done well. What's speaking of that, what's one lesson about entrepreneurship you learned the hard way and now teach others?
I learned the hard way that you do have to protect your business. And so, because I'm a person who operates with heart as well. Sometimes I have given away the store and as I'm helping other people grow their business, because that's what I've done
Mhm.
very intentionally. Um, Sometimes you can give too much away. So help
Mhm.
others. Our mission at the Saunders PR Group is to, of course, grow a business, leave a legacy for others, help Black and Brown in particular, but all people um, develop wealth, and then also help other creatives grow their business. That's what we're here to do.
Mhm.
In doing that, however, you also have to protect your business. And so I learned the hard way that you've got to protect your business as you are helping others grow theirs.
That's
And so
good.
that's what I share with other entrepreneurs. Do the work, help others. And as you're doing so, you still have to protect your business.
Good. That's a good word. That's a great word. Because sometimes we people think we have more than we have, so to
Say
speak.
that.
They just pull on you. Well, I know you could do this. I know you can support
Mm-hmm,
this, and then
mm-hmm.
we have to be strategic in what we do and what we support. Gene Smith shared this on the show. He talked about being Ohio State. He tells fundraisers when you're talking to somebody, you have to find out what their heart is. Some people may want to get a scholarships. Some people may want their name on a building. Others may want to do that. But you got to find out what is that hot button of that person. And if what you're asking him is not in his wheelhouse, he's not going to give to it.
That
He's not going to support it. He's not going to support it. But if it's in their wheelhouse, and I think in business we have to learn there's certain things. Like for me, it's all about education. Now, if a
yes,
kid needs some money
yes.
for education, I got you. Now, if you
Mm,
need some money for this other stuff, I don't know. The sports equipment and all that, I got all that. But when you talk about education, count me in.
that's
you know.
it.
I
Mhm.
got you because I know that's for me. That's what's gonna last. That's gonna be the leg helping people. I had a kid. We made a commitment for a young lady. I spoke at Berwick Middle School, eighth grade
Okay.
graduation. So I
Uh-huh.
told I told that graduating class, if anybody gets all A's for 4 years, my wife and I will support you every semester in college financially.
Wow.
So I forgot all about this.
Uh-huh.
This mother tracked me down.
Oh,
Mr.
uh-huh.
Brown, you remember that? Well, my daughter, she got all A's all 4 years at Eastmore Academy.
Isn't
I
that
mean, straight
beautiful?
A's. And she was going to North Carolina A&T, which is the
Mm-hmm.
icing on the cake, so I can support somebody in HBCU school.
HBCU, yes.
Wonderful thing. So every semester, my wife and I supported her, and she had the nerve to keep going to get a master's. So we were still but we didn't miss our dollar amount.
Isn't
We
that
ironed
beautiful?
our commitment. So I say to say this, for our dollars are about education. If you talk
Mm-hmm.
about that, I'm in. But we do have to protect it. We have to protect it, protect our assets, our resources, at the end of the day. As we think about it's a legacy podcast.
Mm-hmm.
When you think about that word, when you think about building a legacy, what does that mean to you personally? What does that mean to you personally, building a legacy?
Building a legacy personally means living your life in such a way that you have made an impact in some way. Now, impact can be a number of ways. Exposing young people to different things that opens their eyes to the possibilities of who they can become.
Mm,
And then, just as you did, following them along the way to help them reach that.
yes.
It could be in this space of being a communications leader and a PR professional, bringing other people along in my profession who may not have considered it. So I am very intentional about paying for my organization. The professional organization for us is the Public Relations Society of America. I pay for Black and Brown
Right.
creatives to join that organization as long as they make a commitment to um, be in a leadership role. Me and another colleague, I started the diversity and inclusion committee for that organization, and it still stands today. And then we identify people who can lead that by being on that board and then being a board member. So having to make sure that I'm bringing people along in leadership roles in the spaces that I'm in,
Mm,
that's leaving a legacy.
mm,
Personally, leaving a legacy from a character perspective. I want people to know that I did my best, did all I could, and I helped somebody along the way.
mm,
That is leaving a legacy. And then from a professional perspective, from my business, I'm hoping that once I'm gone, that business continues in a way that helps to continue to hire all people, because we hire all people, but especially Black and Brown and women in the spaces that are sometimes very difficult for us to be in. And so that's what I hope when I think about legacy, it's beyond the wealth legacy. It really is the human legacy aspect of leaving a legacy, making a mark, and having others who you've helped to build up in a way that they too will leave a legacy.
That's a good word. That's a good word. I think what you're sharing is how we have to be intentional in that. We
Intentional.
have to be
Mhm.
intentional. And then the other thing that you're at a level now where you're going beyond the mentorship piece now, and it's like Jordan Miller says, that you're a sponsor now.
Yes,
You,
indeed.
you're at the table, you're in the room now. You know, on these
Hmm.
boards, these committees. And that's what I love about you because you're on these boards, you're on these rooms, and you're a sponsor now. Give this child a chance, give him an opportunity,
I yes,
you're in the room
indeed.
now. You're in the room. And that's the level that you are now. And I see because you can just if you really thought back on your tree, all the people that you've helped along the way, help get in that room, because you've been their sponsor, that you say, hey, I'll walk you through this thing. And the beauty of young people today is that they really do want to be successful. And they're just
They
waiting on us. They're
do.
just waiting on us. We
They
talk about them,
do.
but talk to them, just have a
Hmm.
conversation
Hmm.
with them. And then they're ready. They just need us to come alongside. And who better than you who can help them? The most important skill you can help them is how to communicate. That's
Yes,
half the deal. I mean, that
yes,
that is
indeed.
the deal. That is
It
the
is
deal.
the deal.
With good character and being able to present yourself in the right way, oh, it's over. It's over what you can do.
It really is, Tim. You said it there. I think sometimes, particularly in today's environment with texting and the
Mm-hmm.
not communicating completely, and the way that sometimes we communicate while we're on the phone, as particularly our young people, I help them understand that's fine to communicate with one another that way, but when you are in a showing up to do a job interview or when you are presenting yourself for your scholarship for your college, you have to present yourself in a way that demonstrates you can communicate. And so we used to do a training for at high school level and helping young people communicate and present themselves in a way that yeah, you can have fun with with your friends and you can talk that way. But when you are around adults, when you're in a room, particular areas, you have to show up in a way that demonstrates that you are a strong communicator because that will make the difference between someone who has the same resume as you. But if you cannot communicate and articulate yourself in a way that builds trust and people have some confidence in you, then you're not going to make that cut.
That's good. That's good. Speaking as we come around the corner, this has been a great interview, and I've
Oh,
gotten so
thank
much wisdom myself just in the stories. What's one message you hope every listener takes from your story? What's one message that you want them to take from your story, hearing your story?
believe in you. Believe in you. We may not always, our journey can be winding and it may not always be a straight line. But if you believe in you, that is the big part of the battle. So you have to believe in you. You are it.
Mm,
God has given you everything you need. He and God does not make any mistakes. So we're the ones who sometimes get in the way, but you've got to believe in you, even when it's hard. And we're not always going to be right. We're not always going to make the best decision. Sometimes we're going to fall down, but believe in yourself and get back up and put that foot back in front of the other and keep going.
mm.
Keep going. Keep going.
That's a
Believe in
good
you.
word. That's a good word. Believe in you. Believe that's a mic drop. Believe in you.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
real.
Thank
Well,
you.
Gail, I want to thank you for being on the show today. And I want to back up and thank you for that eighth grade self, you know,
Oh,
making that commitment, recognizing the purpose that God has you here on this earth, and following through with that. Well, when you shared about being a cheerleader, that just touched my heart because every time I look at these teams, wait a minute now. I know there's an African American girl somewhere. But not only were you on the team, you were the captain of the team.
mhm.
Denny Crum gave that opportunity in sports, and you just and it was because of your character. It was
Thank
truly
you,
because of
Tim.
your character that you even get these opportunities. And so I want to thank you for that. I really want to thank you. I'm just so excited hearing about your family. That's a
Oh,
blessing. Mom, dad, seven brothers, sisters, and a beautiful job that and here it is right here. Here's the proof right here. And then I watch your son. You know, how you and your husband are raising your son to be a mannerable young man, a personable young man who can truly communicate. Because I watched him through high school and just, I was around, I was watching him. He never said much, you know. He
And
was
he's
one of those kind of guys, you never see him out there patting his chest about what he was doing. Just a great team young man, you know. And
Thank
God's
you.
gonna honor him for that and the great job he did. So I
Please
want to
keep
thank
him
you
lifted
for,
up in prayer. You know, our
oh
young
yeah.
people, we always got
Oh
to keep
yeah.
them lifted up in
Oh yeah.
prayer.
No,
So
no,
thank
it
you
ain't
for
over.
that,
It
Tim.
ain't over.
Thank
But the
you.
training is there. The Bible says, train up a child in the way they will go, and we know they won't depart, you know,
Mm,
because you and your husband know what's inside of him, you know.
mhm,
That's
mhm.
why we look at our three children. They may go astray a little bit here and there, but
Yes,
I know what's in them. You
that's
know,
right.
I know the Lord is in them. You know,
That's right.
I know. And anytime they're ready to come back to their senses,
That's right.
they
That's
got a
right.
foundation. You know, they don't get this thing
Thank you,
messed up.
Tim.
But I want to
Thank
encourage
you.
and thank you for leading with purpose, serving with excellence, and building a legacy that inspires the next generation. So I want to encourage the listeners. Thanks for joining today's podcast. Please subscribe to the channel and share with family and friends. Beer Baller Podcast available on all podcast streaming stations. So Ms. Saunders, Ms. Gail, thank you for being on the show. It's truly been a blessing having you
Tim,
as a guest on Beer Baller Podcast.
Tim, thank you. It has been an honor, a joy, and I just want to say thank you for all you do and have done over the course of your journey. You just are, we appreciate you.
Appreciate you too. Have a great day.